Whoa, this is kind of unique. It has these sort of like pistons. You know, I got this board and I took a look. I was blown away. I was like on a call with a few friends and I showed them. They're even just like, Jesus, this board looks sweet. So to read off some stats before I show you the board is going to be an 8-degree typing angle. It has a interesting layout. So this is for the control panel 01. It's going to have a left side knob, which I think is great. And it has a pretty unique finish. And I think the finish is quite interesting. So I'm going to actually skip showing you guys. I mean, it comes in a nice hard shell case. I mean, screw it, I'll just show you guys. It's cool. Neat little hard shell case. Not like the main point of this, but this is a lacquer finish. And I have to admit, this is one of the nicest finishes I have ever seen. And I went through this deep dive of trying to figure out, okay, what is a lacquer finish compared to an ano finish? Like, why would I want a lacquer, or why wouldn't I want a lacquer finish? And I read up on it, did some little bit of research. So anodization is a totally different process. It's like forcing oxidation or something like that. Essentially, ano, if this was anode like this red here was, this would be a little bit more resistant and durable to like element or environmental factors, and it's just a better quality finish ano in terms of durability. Lacquer, depending on how you do it, is actually still durable. It's not as durable as ano, although for what we're doing for keyboards, I don't think this matters because we're not throwing this around. At least I hope. It's a very aesthetic finish, and it has this almost like a car paint kind of look. And I'll show you guys some angles of this. I can't describe this well enough. It is just such a beautiful, beautiful finish. It is so smooth. Again, fingerprint. It is a fingerprint magnet though, but it is beautiful. I love this finish. And it still has some anodized parts on it. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. I've never seen a red like this on a keyboard. It is genuinely such a pretty looking red. It's gonna ring in stock for the time being on APOS Audio. There's only 2 colors available, which is a bit unfortunate because when you look at Noir's IC page on Z Frontier, they have like 7 or 8 different colors and some of them look insane. This is actually one of the more expensive colors. So this one here is gonna ring in at $500 in stock. They're also offering a warranty on this. They have this in stock. But yeah, 2 colors only, cream and red. It is what it is here. They sent this over for us to take a look at, so I'm pretty happy to take a look at this today. But genuinely, very pretty looking keyboard. It does primarily seem to want to use a split and then a center over here, so it looks like 2 split center. It looks like you can install a 6.25U, although that was not advertised. I'm hoping it works with a regular spacebar as well. I can already give this one piece of criticism, and it's probably going to be for the PCB. It looks like this is going to be fixed, very fixed for what you can do layout wise. Maybe this can do a 6.25U. This is not a button over here, but it does have this right aligned knob, which is a very nice knob. And the knob is stepped in. So it is a genuinely good looking keyboard. Here's the side profile. We'll get that shown off over here too. Pretty nice looking side profile. 22 mil front height with the feet, a little higher than I normally like. But you know what? Maybe this isn't the biggest deal in the world to some. The bottom of the board, got some fingerprints on the finish over here. It is what it is. Can't really avoid that with any keyboard. Pretty looking, again. It does have some push-in feet that are sort of unique. And then you can see the screws. The screws were something that stuck out to me when I saw this originally as well. A atrocious screw. They got some Phillips screws in the bottom. Don't know what the deal with that is. And then they kind of got this badge on the back where, kind of shows the year and the manufacturer and a little signature. I don't think that's like too in your face. Not really something I'm too concerned about, but it does kind of add something to the board, I guess. Recessed USB-C. But overall, this finish is just killing it. Like, I think this is gorgeous. Like I said, one of the nicest finishes I have ever seen on a keyboard, and I don't think I'm doing this justice. And then the internals are supposed to be a bit unique too, and I can't really describe the internals very, very well if I'm being real with you guys. They're calling the internals sockets. Kind of just sound like they're gasket pins, and it has 30 different spots in which you can mount them. Totally optional where you can put them, which is kind of cool. If this does go into like a group buy period where you can kind of mix and match parts, it does look like in the future there'll be a non-HHKB version as well. I have not seen this board undone, nor did they have any sort of like breakdowns for this board, nor did I watch any videos. So this is my first time looking at this too. For 500 bucks, I want something that's gonna be not just a pretty finish. If you're gonna make a very complex board, I would appreciate a build guide, and I'm sure they're probably gonna make one because they did for the other board. You know, a build guide would always be nice too, especially when it's a little bit more complex. Ribbon cable right underneath. So you do have to be very careful taking this off or you could damage something. This is like an adhesive foam. Not really adhesive, probably just bonded a little bit down here, but probably the battery underneath here as well. Non-proprietary, or it is a proprietary daughter board, so non-universal, which I understand for these type of products. I get it. Hopefully in the future they'll give you access to make these in the future, which is ideal rather. Interesting internals over here. This has a bunch of weight to it. And then it looks like for the internals, so it has these like specialty pins. So maybe this is quite unique in terms of how this mounts. Interesting. Do I need to unscrew everything now, or just the ones with the arrows pointed towards them? Let's see. Okay, I just need to do the ones with arrows. You know, I like that. That gave me a visual cue on what I need to do. So there's arrows on these that kind of point, and I guess these are for these. Whoa, this is kind of unique. So it sits on these little pieces of, like these plastic gasket washers. And then it has these sort of like pistons. And then they did include some more, because the idea is you can kind of pick and choose where you want these things to go. And then there's more little gasket things here you can use. So you give you a whole bag of these things. It comes with a whole baggie full of these things. Dude. So you can just kind of pick and choose, because the PCB sits on these little pistons, or whatever you want to call them. And you can pick and choose where you want them to sit. So it looks like they just have 3 installed, like 3 on the top, 3 over here. They don't have adjustable weights, it seems, but I'm gonna unscrew this one here and I'm gonna remove the ones under the space bar. But also, I'm just kind of curious. Why is the coating scuffed on the inside? I'm under the impression that lacquer probably doesn't do well with screws, as you can see. I'm not offended that the inside doesn't seem to be as polished as the outside. Like, I'm not offended by that at all. I'm also under the impression that this is a little bit trickier to do, especially with touching parts like that. For me, the special coating here, I'm more concerned about the exterior. But I think that this is unique enough that I am very excited looking at this. I like the fact that they give you so many of these, and you can pick and choose where you want these to go. Because now I'm sitting here thinking, why isn't this like one of the main features on their product page? Not for, I mean, even for APOS audio. This should be like the main thing. In fact, I don't think I saw this one time on the IC. This is the coolest part about this board. Yeah, this has a lot of screws to it. It's not like this feels bad to take apart, which is important. Here is the PCB. Oh wow, this thing is interesting. I would have loved to see a solderable PCB. So this is a PCB mounted. So technically, you could make this plateless, technically. I mean, in this case here, it is hot swap, so I probably wouldn't bother. Per key RGB, which is neat. Not really necessary, but I can see people vibing with that. I don't know if this will be for everyone, but I really appreciate how different this is. I really like that this is not just a different internal mounting system too. We got a really cool finish. We have a unique concept for a board. So again, get split. It'll be usually, I think the intended thing to do here is do 2 short space bars and a middle space bar, like a function. But I'm hoping that I can do a regular space bar here just because I want to see how it sounds. Well, this is foam, so this I'm going to take off. I don't want to use the foam. It came with foam. You can take that off, obviously. On the plate, it looks like there's some sort of force brake or some sort of gasketing system on top of the plate that's pre-applied, but just an FR4 plate. It's a meme cut plate. It is what it is. And I guess you could take off this whole entire top assembly here if you really want, but I'm not gonna bother, and I'm certain there's probably some other daughter board in there. This is starting to make a lot more sense for 500 bucks, by the way. Just look how many things are on this. Like, look at the machining they had to do. Really take that in. And even these are machined too, all these pieces. These are aluminum. These are cherry Nixies with dyed tops. What are you guys thinking for this? Here's my thought process, because this is so adjustable. We can do so many different things with this. I'm thinking we leave the ones on the top the way that it came, which is stock like this. So I'm thinking that. Let me kind of explain this a little bit. See how it has multiple different places where you can install different pins? So you can install the extra ones if you want. You can make this really resistant, and you can put 2 more technically, or you can just remove them all and leave 1, or you can leave 2. I think for the top, I just want to leave the 3. I kind of like the way that felt, and I'm thinking for the side, we leave 3 as well. There's a small part of me that wants to just leave the middle one out on the sides. And since we're not doing a full spacebar anymore, like we're doing the split, we have to do the split, I'm kind of just thinking leaving the bottom stock as well. Maybe the only one I want to change is the sides. Like you should do just 1 in each for the ultimate bounce. I mean, that's what's really interesting about this board is they do give you that option. You can do whatever you want. Oh no, I was going to take out just the middle for the sides. That was my thought process. We can leave 1 and 2 and have the sides kind of being a little bit more bouncy. All right, so this is done. Dude, this is still so interesting to me. Take a look at this. Do you guys see how this gasketing system works? You know what's really nice about this though? The way this was done and the way this was machined and the way these parts are implemented is there's not really a sound when this happens. Unlike the spring alternative to this, where I've seen the suspension mount be like springs, where it's crunchy, this is kind of doing its own thing. And obviously it's not that aggressive when you're typing. It just feels like comfortable. It is quite nice. And I applaud them on that. This is really, really pretty. All right, let's put this back together. I think I'll just leave the foam at the bottom for now. And then if anything, I'll take it off. Interesting. They have some like cutouts, I guess, for these to kind of land. I wonder if, I guess that's more of an alignment thing, I want to say. This whole ribbon cable here, I don't think this is a good length for this ribbon cable. Maybe we can install it like this. I would still prefer this to be a smidge longer. Maybe like an extra inch. So you can kind of lift this up and not accidentally pull on things. All right, so when you take this up, you kind of have to be careful with this. We're gonna install this one first because the badge also locks the keyboard in place. If I was to give this a ranking, I would actually give this a kind of in the middle for build assembly. It's not difficult by any means and a little annoying with those ribbon cables. I really vibe with the mounting system. You know what? I really vibe with it too. It's interesting aesthetically, but I'll hold my judgment until I hear the sound. I love the way this looks. This looks really cool. The red is just popping. My cameras are not doing this red justice. I will have to take a photo for you guys and really show you the red of this keyboard. It almost looks like an automotive finish. And I don't know if they share similar traits, but the one thing holding this board back, as much as I think this works for me, I can probably still type on this just fine. I would have loved to have a regular spacebar. Like, loved to have a regular one. $500 is definitely steep, but you guys saw what's in here. So I actually don't mind the $500 price point. I think there's a lot of fun stuff in here. We're not using the internal foam for the PCB/plate combo. This is the FR4 plate, 1.2 mil PCB. There is the bottom foam still on this. It's not going to be as interesting as a keyboard because no spacebar sounds, but like, I like the way it sounds. I'm a little underwhelmed because I don't have that, you know, what I'm used to normally, which is that spacebar sound. It doesn't sound bad. It actually sounds pretty full. I actually wouldn't say this is quiet at all, if I'm being real with you guys. I think we're very used to like long pull switches. I don't think this is quiet. You're not going to get the best space bars out of this, but you know what? For what they are, they're pleasant. Okay, it's a very nice typing feel. And this is something that I can't show you guys, obviously. Well, I can a little bit. The way this typing feel is with these little piston things, this is extremely comfortable. The 22 mil front height isn't bad. I don't mind it. It does feel a bit tall for me. I love the way this feels though. This is an extremely soft typing experience, but it almost has like this good, it's soft. And maybe we can just rack it up to it being soft. But it almost feels like it has like a kickback to it, where it kind of resets itself like extremely quick because of the way these things work. It just has a nice kickback to it. It's like a snappy softness maybe. That's a great way, Toby. Thank you. And then this adjusts volume. That's doing its thing there. That's beautiful. This is muting. Wonderful. Yeah, this is cool. From a consumer standpoint and from a marketing standpoint, though, like, why doesn't it have more options? I don't know. I feel like it should. I feel like it would have captured a broader audience. But this is really cool. This is a cool project. Really awesome standout feature being the mounting system. This is so cool. And I don't hate this layout, just so everyone's aware too. It's a really fun, interesting layout with, you know, a function key right in the middle so you don't have to reach anywhere. It makes a lot of sense. But I still think there are people who probably will still prefer to have a longer spacebar. Like, you can really tell that this team of designers, based off of the other board too, and I still have it and I can show it to you guys. This one, if you guys remember the N1 with the other suspension mounting system, they clearly are doing some really freaking cool stuff. And I'm gonna give it to the Noir Studio. They are like, I looked forward to building this. This was a really cool experience. This was a really cool build experience and a really cool mounting style. I hope this finds its audience, bro, because I don't want to see this studio just like fall off, because they're doing some cool shit. Where I will criticize the fuck out of them right now, they need to offer more choices for PCBs and plates. Other than that, this is really cool. Bye everybody, love you.